One of the toughest things for contending rosters to do is not only compete for a championship, but maintain value on your roster at the same time. So for those teams built to win today, here are 3 wideouts who can carry you into tomorrow. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nate Liss, and this week my focus is on helping the contenders. Sorry, rebuilders. Now, before I jump into this video, do me a favor, hit the like button to show your support for this channel. And if you enjoy the quality of content that you are seeing and you want to see more of it, then hit the subscribe button below as well so you don't miss any future content or drops from me again. Look, it's hard to compete for titles and still have a roster that is young and valuable enough to give your dynasty teams the ability to make it through injuries or, most importantly, make trades when necessary. So to help you out, here come 3 wide receivers that I absolutely love at their current cost. Courtland Sutton is just 27 years old, which means he's younger than Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, and Terry McLaurin. Technically. And on the year, through 5 weeks of the NFL season, Sutton finds himself top 10 in total targets, top 5 in red zone targets, top 4 in deep targets, and top 8 in air yardage share. It's the reason Sutton currently sits ranked number 15 in fantasy points per game and had one of the safest floors in fantasy football this season. With 0 fantasy performances less than 11 fantasy points per game and 3 top 20 finishes so far this season, Sutton is well on his way to a top 15 overall type year, but at what cost? Well, currently in the eyes of most ranking services, Courtland Sutton is the wide receiver 25 overall. And over on Keep Trade Cut, we can see that he is right inside of that exact same ballpark, surrounded by players like Jahan Dotson, Treylon Burks, and Deontay Johnson. And the reason that Courtland Sutton is ranked wide receiver 25 and not wide receiver 15? Well, it has everything to do with how poorly Russell Wilson has been playing in his new situation up to this point. Yet none of this should matter one bit, as Courtland Sutton has a top 12 target share over the last 3 weeks and has an average target distance of 13.28, which is top 15 at the position in 2022. And in addition to that, of those top 15 big play threats, Sutton is at least 3 red zone targets or more ahead of each one of them. He's being targeted deep, often, and even in the red zone. So I can tell you with certainty that when Russell Wilson returns to his self of old, and he will return to it, you will no longer be able to buy Courtland Sutton at the price tag of Treylon Burks again. Now, Gabriel Davis is an interesting name on this list that I'm providing because he offers all the big game fantasy potential of a player like Jamar Chase, but at a price tag that is literally nowhere near it. Currently being valued around the wide receiver 23 overall on Keep Trade Cut at just 23 years old, you're getting a receiver tied to Josh Allen who can produce elite wide receiver 1 spike weeks, and he's going at the literal price tag of Mike Evans. So maybe it's time fantasy gamers started accepting the actual potential of Gabe Davis instead of denying it. But of course they won't, and that is certainly thanks to playing across from Stephon Diggs in Buffalo. But I digress. Because dating back to last season, we saw that as soon as the snap share went up, so did the fantasy production. And then, of course, after his monster 52-point performance in the playoffs, Gabe Davis was officially on everyone's radar. And then again in 2022, Davis has flashed that same ceiling. In week 1 with an 18.8 fantasy point performance, and then again in week 5 where he finished as the wide receiver 1 overall on the week with 32.1 fantasy points. Both of these games came on the backbone of just 6 total targets or less, because Davis is a threat on any given play on any given week. Currently, he ranks inside the top 8 in average depth of target with 16.4. and has been the beneficiary of one of the league's highest target accuracy ratings and catchable target rates. And why wouldn't he be? Because he also ranks top 10 amongst all wide receivers in quarterback rating when targeted. Look, it's not novel. Throw the ball to your best receiver and let him make plays in the open field. If the idea of Gabe Davis ripping off 4.5 yards after the catch per target or being #1 overall in yards per target doesn't make your pants tight, then there's not a pill or a word that I can say that will do literally anything for you. Speaking of being routinely disrespected, few players can say they've had less faith put into them than Jakobi Meyers has. As a former undrafted free agent who single-handedly turned N'Keal Harry into a future used car salesman in the Windy City. However, after not getting the contract extension this offseason, some Dynasty gamers have lost faith in his potential. But as pointed out to me once before by a very sharp patron, Jakobi Meyers is really just discount Deontay Johnson. Because while Johnson is being viewed as the wide receiver 27 overall on Keep Trade Cut, we actually have to turn to the next page to find Jakobi Meyers, who's nestled between Curtis Samuel and Christian Watson. Look, I don't know what else you want Meyers to do. He's not 26 years old yet. He's currently the wide receiver 8 in fantasy points per game. He's number 2 in yards per route run. He's number 6 in air yardage share, and he's number 4 in wide receiver target share. And as we saw last year, after finishing number 6 overall, he's winning routes once again at a high rate. With the addition of Devontae Parker and the non-commitment of the new contract for Jakobi Meyers have been the big hurdles for Dynasty gamers to wrap their heads around. So while Jakobi Meyers continues to outproduce players like Jalen Waddle, Jamar Chase, Chris Olave, and CeeDee Lamb on a per-game basis, he continues to get treated like a second-class citizen in every single Dynasty league that is connected to the World Wide Web. So as a contender, if Jakobi is available at the cost of a mid-2024 second-round pick that's literally 2 years out, I'm strongly considering that. Because the buzz around New England continues to be that a contract extension will get done with Jakobi Meyers at some point, because this is a Patriots team that is currently projected to have the 3rd most available cap space entering 2023. So while your league mates are willing to ship him because he's an undrafted free agent in New England, you get the added benefit of being months early on an event that is more and more likely to be a lock every day. Thanks again, everybody, for checking out my work. Again, hit the like button for me and help blow this video up. And comment below with who you think is a good candidate for contenders looking to maintain value on their rosters long term. And lastly, of course, if you've enjoyed this content or any other content that I have produced, hit the subscribe button and don't miss any of my new videos as they drop in the future and continue to get released.